Hello there, and we are live. See ya, ladies and gentlemen. You are welcome to another episode of a brand new one. Yeah, people. Yeah, I mean, people. I mean, today it's just only me and Oregon Gunner. Sometimes, yeah, this is why I like this show. Sometimes we could bring in someone like the other day. Ola came into the show. It was an action-packed one, but there's just really some days here that I just want to have the full day with just Oregon Gunner talking football.
Bro.
I mean, and as in, you know what? Yeah, you get full in-depth analysis of the game. That's number one. If Ola is here, we're gonna get into one or two, one or two some arguments, and it's just gonna roll around the show. But whenever I have Oregon Gunner down here, man, people, it's always a blast, and definitely this episode is gonna be a big blast too, because you know what, yeah, people, Arsenal won. We're top of the league, 6 points ahead of the of the park. I can't wait to hear what Oregon Gunner have to say, people. But before I do that, Oregon Gunner gets the
Let's go.
And you know what, people? Yeah, he gets another additional because of his belief in win.Gyokres, our striker, people. He said it last week. You know what? Yeah, keep the faith. And you know what? Yeah, he says Gyokres is going to come good. You know what? Yeah, I'm not here to argue whether he has come good or not. All I know is that because Gyokres scored this weekend, Oregon Gunner gets a po for that belief. Oregon Gunner, talk to those people. You're welcome to the Dal Claude Show, people.
Big up, bro. Glad to be here once again. Top of the league. Good, solid performance against Burnley. Second half, I think Arteta put on the brakes a bit. You could tell that with some of the substitutions, but we could play 180 minutes of that game and Burnley would have been scored. So I'm glad he made some subs. I'm not so sure about the Gyokres injury. I'm hoping it's just maybe a slight muscle strain or something. Hopefully he'll get over in the next day or two. But like you and I talked, I think, a bit during the game. When you were doing your live, and I was thinking, well, maybe he just took him off because they had nothing. They had one decent shot in the 90th minute that went off the post, thankfully, almost a worldie. But other than that, again, we could have played 180 minutes and they would have even scored. So I thought it was precautionary.
But yeah, I feel differently about the second half.
He's got to knock. Burnley's physical.
The physical, but again, yeah, I feel different about the second half. I felt they came out. I felt they knocked the ball around a few times. I felt they came, in and about our half. They passed the ball around here and there, gave our defense a little bit of some nervous breakdown, just a little bit. Maybe not hitting the targets, but they were just in and about, trying to just, string passes together just at the mouth of our 18-yard box. And, of course, no real quality, to finish off. I hear you in that, but it wasn't really something we could say they just sat back. I felt they came out, in spells in the game anyway.
Yeah, and that's to be expected, right? Some of these teams are going to have some possession. They're going to pass it around the box a bit, in our defending half. But again, like you were saying, at the end of the day, there's no real end product. They don't really have a target man that is just on it. I just think it's just one of those things where, we let them play a bit in the second half. Maybe and I did say, I think even in your watch along, Arteta pulled the handbrake a bit, and that's okay to a point. But I would have liked in the third goal and then maybe do that more. But in that first half, we absolutely blitzed them. It should have been 4-0 at halftime easily. I thought the worst player on the pitch was Saka. I just thought he was a bit out of sync today, but he was double-teamed quite a bit. And I'm starting to think that sometimes he's just a real one-trick pony. He does assist the ball well, but if he can't cut on the inside with that left foot, I don't know much else that he's offering right now, Tony, and maybe he's just a little bit out of form. We know when he's 100% in form, he's one of the best wingers in the league. But right now, I think he's just trying to find that connection with Gyokres. I think he does have a couple assists for Gyokres in the last few weeks or so, right? Maybe in the international play, Champions League play. But other than that, I thought he was probably the weaker player on the pitch, to be honest. But other than that, man, 3 points, top of the league. think we're 6 or 7 points ahead of City. 6 points.
Actually, we're 6 points ahead of City.
I've said of City now. So I just think if we can maintain this defensive structure, that it's going to be hard for these teams to get to score on us. We're going to get shots on target eventually. Like that record or whatever is going to break over time. It's going to break, right? I mean, it's just not going to break against Burnley. We got Sunderland coming up next. Isidore I rate is a very good player.
Big game coming up next weekend.
Yeah, Granit Xhaka will be able to play some passes to him, and they've got a couple of decent wingers, and they're going to be a notch better than Burnley. But I still think that's a game that we could easily get 3 points from if we just stay defensively solid, organized in the back. Zubamendi, I thought, was fantastic. His passing range is just is unbelievable. So I see why we spent 45-60 million for him.
Oregon, good. Talking about, I mean, because you just went ahead of me and just latched onto that one. I mean, how has Zubamendi really just acclimatized and integrated with the team? Would you just really say, that he has really found his voice, he's really found his home in that Arsenal midfield? To you, do you think he should be, a starter in this team? I mean, what can you say about Zubamendi? Would you say he's a mainstay in that midfield right now?
The first thing I want to say is that let's go back to last season. Liverpool were after him, Barcelona were after him, and Real Madrid were after him. So there's something there. I mean, you don't just get scouted by those three teams if you're a bum, right? I mean, it just doesn't happen. So I think we have a real gem on our hands. But the kid, I think physically he needs to hit the weight room a bit. He needs to still, but I think he's acclimatized to the Premier League and the pace a bit more. There are times he's going to get run over the ball because he doesn't have, the stature like a Ryan Gravenberch, for example. He's not a Patrick Vieira, right? But you give him 5 or 6 yards on the ball, he can pick a pass anywhere out on the pitch moving forward, right? He looks for the runs. He gets back to helps defend. I think he's kind of that silent, gem, so to speak, that we really need, right? I think Thomas Partey is a bit better just because of the physical aspects. He can really get stuck in, and he can pick a pass as well. But let's be honest, he's not as good as a passer as Zubamendi. He's just a better physical presence on the park. But other than that, I don't really have any complaints about him. Again, he was scouted by 3 of world's best football clubs, and he's with us. So to me, that says a lot. We can look back on the past at Sociedad, but that doesn't matter now. He's wearing the red and white. Sociedad's in the past, and I think he's gelling well with Rice. I think that understanding will only grow even more with Rice on the left, Zubamendi in the 6. Rice knows when to come back, when to run forward, and Zubamendi can look for that pass. I just think we found someone who has the range to play that good forward pass.
Yeah, that's good forward pass. Yeah.
Situation.
But I think his passes have been a little bit underestimated. I mean, we as Arsenal fans really underestimated his passing range. I think he's a very, very good passer of the ball. He finds pocket spaces, even if he's a defensive midfielder. But again, based on Zubamendi, have we finally now agreed that he's the best bet to put in that number 6 rather than Declan Rice? Have we settled that situation right now? Big up to everyone who's in the chat. Thanks for joining us. Big ups for the dog gaming. Aces, you don't have the answers. Big ups our new subscriber, a lady, Claire Olise. Big ups to you. Says hi, Tony and Oregon Gunner. Big ups to you. For the dog gaming is in the house. Aces in the house. Everyone, big ups to you. Smash the like button and people contribute to whatever you're listening to right now. Yeah, Oregon Gunner, you are on your way talking about who is. Have we settled now with that number 6 now? With that number 6 role, that Zubamendi is the best bet for that, rather than changing up the time.
If he's fit, he should play every game, regardless if it's Burnley or Atletico Madrid. I just think that there's a real presence there. Like what I was mentioned before, like he needs to hit the weight room a bit, maybe eat, a couple cheeseburgers and get some milkshakes in him. Because for me, I do like a tall, like for me, Gravenberch would be the perfect addition to who would have replaced Party, right? I like the Patrick Vieira, 6'2", 6'3",
Yeah.
CDF. It's intimidating. It's hard to get past. It's a real
He's
general in there.
physical. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you look at Zubimendi, someone who's I think he's 5'6", 5'7", maybe that at the most. He's small in stature, but his brain to play the ball forward, just playing some arcing balls into the into the strikers or wingers, it puts the defense on the back foot. That ball comes over and you're like, oh crap, there's Martinelli or Trossard running behind me. I got to get back. Or there's Gyokres, pushing around center backs and he can run onto a ball. And same thing with Saka. He can get the ball out wide, get it down on his chest, and get it on the floor. I just think that, I want to see what this guy can do on an off day, right? Like when things aren't going our way, what does he really bring to the table, right? Because when we have off days, Thomas Partey would be a hero. Thomas Partey was man of the match in some of those games. And of course, we can go way back, to Patrick Vieira, et cetera, but that's a bit far now in the ages. But I think like we talked many times, Tony, about Rice being the cleanup man at number 6, right?
Yeah.
Going vertically up the pitch, be the cleanup man, and we don't really want that, right? We don't want Rice to be the cleanup man. We want him to be that box to box and always be a goal scoring threat, even from outside the box. With a great goal he scored yesterday. Running in behind and getting a nice header off the cross. And I just feel that the two of them, it's going to take more time. Again, they've only played, 12, 13 games, maybe a few more than that if you count preseason together. So maybe 20 total. I'm not sure. Whatever number you want to put on it. But I think that partnership between Rice and Zubimendi will only blossom as the season goes on.
Definitely. And people, it's only just to just touch on that Victor Gyokres issue. All we good is to give us a general outlook of the game, but we just have to talk about Victor Gyokres, innit? When you see that cross when he came on, set piece, and then the first set piece goal, it was the second ball off the set piece, definitely not directly from the set piece. Of course, you do understand what I'm talking about, the second ball. But again, man, what a cross, what a whip. We should start heralding these crosses from Declan Rice, even before we even start going into the conversation about Gyokres and his awareness of being where he should be, being in the right place at the right time. Let's just keep that apart, Let's just talk about Declan Rice and his awareness and his prowess in actually trying to just send the right whip, the right measurement into the box. Set pieces is there, free kicks is there.
He's phenomenal. I think at this point in time, the 100 million, 105 million we spent for him has really been worth it. That's like a crazy amount of money to spend on a player. And I don't agree with those kind of fees in football, right? Essentially, I just think that's an astronomical amount of money for any single player. But I can't think of a better player, I would say, world football. I know that's a little bit of a stretch to say who's one of the best delivery of the balls. And remember, even the second or third set piece we had, Tony, he almost put it in the goal, far post. If you go back and remember, right?
Exactly, man.
He almost put it in far post, and the Bournemouth keeper was reaching for his life to get it out of there. I think it just kind of went over. But what you're saying about Gyokres is that you're right. You have to be there to score the goal, right? And this has been my thing. Not even talk about Kai Havertz, but we've talked about him for the last couple of years, Tony, who isn't in those positions to score that goal. Sometimes he is, right? But not like Victor Gyokres was yesterday, right? You have to be in the right areas to score the goals. Even if it's the second ball off the defender's head, keeper's glove, whatever. You still have to be there to put it in. And I think he's scored 5 in 6 games now, I believe. 5 goals in 6 games.
Bro, so wait. There's something
there. It's gaining momentum.
Oregon unit. Victor Gyokres is our highest goal scorer, isn't it?
And I think Martinelli's right behind him.
Bro, upon all the criticisms of Victor Gyokres this season for Arsenal, man is still pitching in those goals. He's still getting those goals, but with the repetition he had in at Sporting Lisbon of being the bagsman, coming to this football club, and I mean, it's just getting this goal sparingly. Do you think it's finally gonna explode? I mean, do you think that this goals is just scoring once in a while? It's just something that's just telling you that, hey, okay, watch out. I still got it. When the full engine starts clicking and working together, I'm gonna be producing more goals. I'm gonna live up to my reputation as the bags man. Do you think it's just preparing to just get into the mix, or do you think
Little
this is the
yeah,
mainstay? What
maybe.
it's gonna be for Arsenal right now, scoring goals in scraps or whatever.
Right. Yes and no. I think it depends on the week in and week out opposition, right? Do
Mm,
when we play Liverpool again, do I expect them to bag a goal? Maybe, right? When we play City again, do I expect them to bag one? Maybe, right?
mm,
But at Burnley, I expect them to score. Sunderland, I expect them to score. Tottenham, I expect them to score. Chelsea, expect them to
yeah.
score. They've had 7 changes in their back line already this season. So we know, shout out to Chelsea for beating the scum yesterday. But at the same time, that defense is very, very poor. And I just think that with those poor defenses, that he should be bagging goals. But I don't, but we can't, look at the Victor Gyokres of Sporting, because at the end of the day, it is the Portuguese league. They play primary to him. But you and I have made the argument, Tony, that if the Sporting Lisbon midfield and manager can figure out, so should our midfield and Arteta, right?
Yeah.
I think he's still on track for 20 to 22 goals, maybe all comps this season.
This
I'm
season,
thinking
right?
that if we can really get him going in the Champions League and even in the domestic cups, he's going to get 20 plus goals this season for sure, which is something realistically needed.
So now, are you still sticking to your guns, yeah, about when Kai Havertz comes back, you still see Victor Gyokres as your number one striker in it? Are you still sticking to those guns, or do you just really think that, oh, okay, look, competition is good across the pitch in all positions? You could see Miles Lewis Skelly is giving Calafiori a big run for his money, and you know what? You just have to allow the competition for those spaces. Yeah, I mean, you could see Trossard. Trossard isn't really in it, but I mean, sometimes it comes up. It comes out with some of these goals that just bails it out. Yeah, once in a while. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like playing well as a collective, and you can see that competition now with Gabriel Martinelli. Gabriel Martinelli wants to come on. He wants to score goals. He's at his prime. So you can just really see the competition within the team and how they're trying to just pitch one player against against another player. Do you really think that this would be a competition when Kai Havertz comes into place? Do you think he's really going to say, you know what, Gyokres hasn't really lived up to that batsman thing, so I can come here and do something? Yeah,
right. But like we said with Ola last week, that competition is secondary, right? Gyokres' competition is Entitike, it's Isak, it's Holland, right? That's his competition, and that's the mindset we need him to have. He shouldn't worry about Kai Havertz and him coming back and stealing his position. I don't think that's going to happen. What I really would like to see is Arteta change it up once in a while to a 4-4-1 run with Havertz behind Gyokres, because I think the two of them together, there are goals to be had there, right? If it's Havertz supporting Gyokres, etc. And that's something we've touched on as well. We've spoken about as well as Gyokres and his support system. He got it against Burnley, but that doesn't mean we're going to have it against United again or the City, Liverpool, etc. It's gonna change, right? As the weeks go on and on and on, right? Things will change. But however, I think the internal competition is good for sure. But if Arteta was to pull Gyokres now, I think that would be a major, major mistake. Just to rush in 29, that would make no sense, bro. You need 29 in some game time for sure, but it needs to be.
Do you think Havertz should have game time? Do you think Havertz should have game time? And what are the restrictions, in that game time that you would say, okay, Kai Havertz, this is what you're gonna get? Like, what was the extent? To what extent do you want to see participation, participation of Havertz this season when he comes back?
opposition-based FA Cup games, opposition-based Carabao Cup games, even though I know we're in the 4th or 5th round, so the teams are a little tougher. But I think Havertz does have a role to play. And again, Tony, we've talked about this many times, bro.
Budador giving things differently. He's saying Havertz starts when fully fit. Do you think that in the grand scheme of things, we have Mikel Arteta as our coach? Ace has just joined into that conversation. He said, Arteta wants his donkey back immediately. Oregon good. It's eating up in the charts here. I mean, Ace is going the other way. Budador gaming is going the other way. Let me pull up the chart so you see. People, we are going to answer all the questions. People, I'm going to put him in the firing line. Look at what Budador gaming said. He said, you know what, I think Harvard starts when fully fit, and he says that with his full chest. Now, look at what Ace is saying down here, live in the chat. People. Arteta wants his donkey back immediately.
I get it.
Oregon going to give us perspective. Come on, man.
Right, but the thing is, guys, Voodoo and Acers, is that the right move to make? We can say he wants him back. We can think that he wants him back, or we can think that he's going to replace Gyokres with Havertz. But is that the right move? And if he does do that, and we don't get goals from Havertz, then where are we at? And that's why I think Arteta's, it's taken him 6 years to kind of figure things out. But there's no reason right now to put Gyokres on the bench. Like, what would be the substantial reason for that? There's no proof that Havertz is going to come back and hit the ground running. Havertz, he scored 2 goals in Leeds, our second game of the season, but it's just, I don't think that you can look at the stats where we're at now and think Havertz is going to come back and produce something like that or do what Gyokres is doing. And I understand what Voodoo's saying. I see the chat, his favorite. We've said that as well many times. Like, Gyokres may get benched because the donkey comes back. Right, but then we're starting over again, right? But then it's like we're starting over again, and I just don't see Arteta and even Berta at some point, right, who does have an influence to really justify that decision. Why did we start that again? And I get what you guys are saying. We all know he's Arteta's guy. It was a surprise signing. We paid him. We paid too much money. We know the narrative behind Havertz being here, right? But we also know in January of 2024, he was instrumental in us going on that 31 goals, 4 conceded run that still didn't win anything, right? And that's also something, the data that Arteta has to look at. Where did we end up with Havertz? Second. Where did we end up with Havertz again? Second. Right, so this time we have Gyokres. We're on top, but we know it's early. We know 25% of the season's only been played. Tony, we have a lot of football left to play, and like I was saying before, that you and I have spoken many times, is that it's going to take more than just the first 11 or 18. We're going to need to involve 22 players in doing this, because I expect us in the Carabao Cup. I expect us to be an FA Cup final against City or Liverpool. I expect us to at least be in the semifinals of the Champions League if draws go our way, right? And even if we get Madrid, who are really in form this season right now, if we get Madrid later on down the road, we know what we can do to them. We know what their weaknesses are, but they're going to know what our strengths are as well, right? So it'll be interesting in the Champions League draw. That's hard to comment on it now because we got so far away from that. We got a long way to go for that. But to bring Havertz in now, to me, is like starting at ground zero practically, because then you've got to get the service to him. You've got to have him back to goal. He's got to get back and defend. He's got to do the things that Gyokres has now learned to do. And that we're
Oregon good. Part of the mission statement of my channel is that we give a voice to the other people too. Apart from my own opinion, apart from your own opinion too.
Right.
I've sampled some certain opinions from some Arsenal fans, and they are saying that the reputation that Gyokres came with into the football club hasn't been fulfilled yet, to be very sincere. And I hear it because when you see in a striker, who has scored nearly over 100 goals in 2 seasons, not in the Premier League, of course in the Portuguese league, and of course in Europe, you have to add those tallies too, right. But he hasn't really done it at Arsenal just yet. I know he's on his way. Personally, I know he's on his way. but he hasn't really done it yet. So, in other words, yeah, would you say that someone else like Kai Havertz has an equal opportunity to actually come in and have his own fair shouts too, his own fair games too, to be able to be, to be heard too in that way? Would you give him a chance to actually have a say in the grand scheme of things too? Because just for the sole purpose that Gyokres hasn't really lived up to that expectation. He hasn't shattered the whole ceiling yet.
That's people's opinion. But the proof is that he's already our top. You just said it. He's our leading top scorer. He scored 5 out of the last, I think, 6 games or 6 out of the last 7 games.
And people are still saying that Kai Havertz is still technically better than Victor Gyokres. Do you agree to that?
No.
I mean, I heard it in some circles that technically he's more better than
I think you're listening to the wrong circles of information.
It's not my own. I'm just sampling what people are saying.
I get it. You're listening. I know you're listening to what's going on Twitter or X, and you're very listening to what some of these top gooners are saying. And I'm not saying like Voodoo, who's giving his opinion out there. We know that because we know Arteta makes mistakes, and in my opinion, it would be a huge mistake to start over again with Kai Havertz as a striker. It would be starting over. Again, you would have to get the service. You would have to get him introduced in the set plays, which we know he's doing at training. I know he's doing light training, but I don't think he comes in and just replaces him, bro. Like, he's going to have to get into the squad again. I can see, okay, let's say we're beating Burnley 3 or 4-0 yesterday. 72nd, 75th minute, Havertz is fit. Gyokres, let's say, doesn't get a knock or whatever. Yes, bring him on by all means. I'm for that. And again, I've said it. Play a 4-4-2 with Havertz and Gyokres up front. There's goals there, bro. Or play a 4-4-1-1 with Havertz behind
exactly.
Gyokres.
I mean, there's goals there, isn't it?
You can always put Moreno striker. You can always revert to a 4-2-3-1 and have Moreno up there isolated, right? So Moreno could be our third string striker. I think starting him, let's say, right, so we have Tottenham at the end of the month. And like Voodoo's saying, we hear he's coming back this month. So if we have Tottenham
back immediately after the international,
we start Havertz against Spurs. Like, I don't see that doesn't make sense to me. But Arteta has done a lot of shit that doesn't make sense to anyone, especially a lot of us here on the chat. And that's the point I think Voodoo and Acers are making, is that Fraudteta, because if you look at Acers' comment, wants his donkey back. Fraudteta, right? The fraud, because we know he makes mistakes. Go back a season ago when it was Aston Villa playing Gabriel Jesus up front and Havertz at left mid, and it cost us the freaking league. And these are the mistakes that I still am not getting. I'm excited where we're at right now, right? I'm hyped to where we are right now. But come March, it's a whole different deal, bro. And we know that this manager cannot get it over the line, right? We know that, and it's great now. We have a decent gap to 6 points is 2 games, right? But if the ball turns yellow, the weather turns worse in January or February, right? Our play will not be as good. We will draw games. There will be penalties. There could be own goals, right? Things happen in football. And we have Tony, we've got like 50 to 60 more games to play, including all comps. Like, this is far from over. What if Gyokres gets injured in an FA Cup game?
I mean, Oregon, I hear you when you bring up this, the long list of gaffes from Mikel Arteta. However, I still do think that this season is a more different season than every other season.
Some of that as well.
Whenever you say that, hey, we've been here before, I hear people that say it. I hear Ola when he says that. I hear you when you say, hey, we've been in this situation before. But again, I still feel that we've been in this situation, but with a difference. This season, we have depth. Oregon don't just throw out the window that we changed at least up to 10 players in that game against Brighton. In that team that faced Brighton, up to 10 changes, and that's from the fringe of our bench or whatnot at Oregon. Right. How many teams had that luxury to actually change that amount of players in their team and actually still have that creative balance, actually still have that defensive balance. Look at Liverpool. I mean, this is not something out of space. Look at Chelsea. I mean, they made some kind of changes, but look at what happened. I mean, lots of goals conceded in their EFL Cup game. Look at Liverpool. I mean, they're out of the EFL Cup and still by the same Crystal Palace that we saw off the road when we played them at home. So not all these teams have this kind of balance. We have depth. We have quality in that depth. See, Oregon, no one in the media, mostly even in mainstream media, no one is actually saying that Arsenal doesn't have the quality again. The conversation have actually shifted to what's our mental process right now that will see us off to winning. It's no more, they don't have the kind of caliber of players to actually get them on that road to win. No one is actually saying that. They all believe that we have the quality. They all believe that, suddenly these guys have the bench. So no one is actually arguing about these things no more. So it's now based on the mentality of the team and based on the manager, and what he's going to do and how he intends to take us. But again, I'm extricating this from the manager. I think we have quality players and individual players to see us off the line. And again, there's a difference I'm seeing this season, Oregon Union, that makes me feel that we're going to win this league. We are winning the ugly way. I mean, I said it with my show yesterday with the Waffle Done. Yeah, Arsenal is winning the ugly way. It's no more beautiful, sexy football that we would play, and we would, like last season, went on to Craven Cottage, drew there, went to Newcastle, lost points there. West Ham came back to our home, took away points from us. Crystal Palace took away points from us. It is no more that beautiful football. It's now more of an ugly-looking framework, an ugly-looking system. But we're getting the job done. And at the end of the day, that's what really matters. It's what puts the 3 points on that table. That's what we want. We're winning the ugly way. We were righting the wrongs of last season. So sometimes when you say that, yes, we know the manager can get it over the line, are you saying that Arsenal doesn't have what it takes to actually win the league? When you look at all the things.
Well, Tony, first and foremost, we bought 8 players this summer, and we cleared out the deadwood. We don't have Rob Holding. No more ESR. No more Reece Nelson.
No Nelson. No Fabio Vieira.
Right. So that's a huge difference. And if we go back in time, a lot of what you're talking about, Thomas Partey was gone and injured. Thomas Partey missed like half a season, right? Because of whatever charges he's going through and whatever personal stuff or whatever, an injury crisis. We were playing Kieran Tierney, remember, who was basically the third choice center back. As much as I love KT, and he's obviously gone now, but we never won anything with KT. Right? So at the end of the day, we're a completely rebuilt squad after this summer. We have an Eze, we have a Zubamende, we have an actual striker who's played the position pretty much all his life.
We have Mosquera. Oh my days. Oregon good. Right. Mosquera, bro. He copied. What are we talking about?
Exactly. Right. But what my point I'm getting to is, like I said before, it's going to take more than just the first 11 and a few subs off the bench. It's going to take a conglomerate effort of Waneri, Mosquera, a couple of kids they had, Lewis Skelly, one of the kids, I can't remember his name, that played against Brighton. We're going to need support. But my main point is that the depth is good, but the quality in depth is much better, right? You can have depth, but if they're not very good, it's Liverpool, right? Like that's the analogy you're trying to make, right? That they bring on Curtis Jones while we're bringing on, let's say, Odegaard or somebody, or we can bring on Eze.
We're bringing in a copy. We're bringing in a sweater. We're bringing in players of quality.
Yeah, he was in the FA Cup side, but I mean, that was still that wasn't really Arteta's team if you're talking about the FA Cup of 2019, bro. But we've never won the league with Turney, is my point. And after the FA Cup, we haven't won anything with him. And as much as I love KT as the next person, at the end of the day, how would he fit in now? I'm not so sure. But we're not here to talk about KT. We're here to talk about the gap in quality in the depth has shrunken. Before it was here, now it's up here. It's closer to a starting 11. You can see if Waneri or Odegaard are both. If Eze and Odegaard are both out, so to speak. Waneri in there, not a huge gap in quality in Eze, in my opinion. He can still do something. He still has end product. He's still hungry to get goals, right? So Rice is out. You can put Moreno in there, even though I think he's one of the lower rated players in there, but it's still someone who, like we've talked before, is currently in form, obviously playing well for Spain, but it's not like we're bringing on Fabio Vieira. Moreno's better than Fabio Vieira at the end of the day. So we've made the right signings. We've got out, so to speak, the deadwood. That's all good, Voodoo. I remember Kieran Tierney won it with them, but at the end of the day, we never won a Carabao Cup with Kieran Tierney in the last 5.5 years. We didn't win an FA Cup. Obviously, we didn't win the league. That was my point. So, we've increased the quality, but it's going to take more than this first 11. That's the main thing I think that a lot of us need to recognize. And even, the 7 or 8 subs we have on the bench. We're going to need Kepa, right? We're going to need Mascara. We're going to need Kape. We're going to need these.
Kepa came on in that game against Brighton with a whole different apparatus in terms of defensive apparatus given to him, and he kept a clean sheet. So we have competition for places right now.
Right.
That, in essence, that's what I'm really saying. We have depth, and the depth are depthed. That's what I'm saying. Arsenal have got depth, and the depth is depthed, people. Right. Because if Liverpool depth cannot beat that Crystal Palace team, and our own depth is beating a full-fledged Premiership team, bro, what are we talking about? What are we? I mean, what are we doing? What are we saying?
On the day, we're better than
we have a
Liverpool.
effective level, and our depth is actually depthed, bro. Oregon Gunner, there's this. I mean, the criticisms is getting louder, but in mainstream media and of course within Arsenal fans themselves, I've heard people in the media, I've heard even Arsenal fans castigating and saying that we're gonna kick FC, that we're Stoke FC 2.0, that the only way we get goals is through set pieces. I like to call it our reformed weapons of mass destruction. I mean, you're an American, and in your armory, you have weapons of, of deadly destruction that you don't even have to use it. I mean, and that's a good thing that you don't have to use it. Bro, Arsenal have got weapons of mass destruction, and we're using it. I mean, we are using it, Oregon Gunner, and it's getting us over the line, even in tougher games. Oregon Gunner, why is the criticism so loud out there about our corner kick prowess, about our defensive display, about how we intend to score goals through free kicks, how we're scoring goals through corner kicks? Last time I checked, it's a legit way of playing football. Oregon Gunner, why are these dissenting voices about how Arsenal decide to score goals? Why is it so loud in the media right now? What's the problem?
They hate us, bro. They don't want to see us succeed. Pure facts. And it's so hypocritical. If any of these other fans of other teams, had the weaponry of the mass destruction that we have, which is Declan Rice delivery, because really that's all it is at the end of the day. You can only deliver the ball in the box. Hopefully a center back gets onto it or somebody gets onto it, right? At the end of the day, they don't have a Declan Rice who can deliver like God-level set pieces. We've seen it against Madrid. We've seen it yesterday. We've seen it game in and game out. So it's not really the goal, in my opinion, it's not really like the goal that's scored. It's the delivery, bro. It's the delivery. It's spot on every single time. It's so consistent. And they just want to hate us, bro. And it's hypocritical. So all those fans in my opinion, can just go eat a bag
Even
of dicks.
rival fans,
Rival fans
hate
let
us
them.
because we're scoring quality goals. They hate
Gary
us
Neville,
because we're scoring goals.
Jimmy Carragher, all those
I
pundit
wonder what the
assholes.
noise is all about.
I don't care. If they had the Declan Rice doing the same things, they would be ole ole corner again, right? They would be ole ole. So it's hypocritical for these other rivals to say what they're saying, and I don't even care about that. 3 points, scoring goals at the end of the day is what matters. The table doesn't lie. It doesn't matter how the ball is delivered. We scored 2 goals yesterday. One was a set piece and one was from open play, if I remember.
Yeah.
I guess you could consider the set piece Gyokres go open play because it hit off the defender's head anyway. Like you said, it was a second chance ball. So it wasn't like he jumped up and directly knocked it in top bins, from the set piece. And that's football, bro. I don't get that argument.
Exactly, man. Because it boils my heart when I hear this.
It's a winning formula.
Guys, that have a big platform, and they're all, in turn, they're all ripping us apart. But one of the things, I want to actually argue is, are you really concerned in any way, about how our football really is right now? Arsenal, when Arsene Wenger was here, were always known to always move the ball around. The ball. I mean, the game was good in the eye. Even in spells when Mikel Arteta came on, we're still passing the ball around, playing all that good-looking football in a way, but with no result. More it was Arsene Wenger. Are you really concerned in any way that set pieces are a way out for us to bail us out? We no more playing that beautiful eyed football that used to help us out in some cases a couple of years ago. Do you have concerns in that it's now a bit of a boring kind of football in a way? Because there are times I watch Arsenal games and I'm like,
some games are going to be better than others.
It's boring, but we get 3 points in it.
It was beautiful against Atletico Madrid. A little bit, but it was beautiful against Atletico Madrid. I was terrified of them. I thought that was going to be our biggest test of the season. We absolutely slapped them up. 3 goals in like 10 minutes. It just.
But again, that was in the second half. That wasn't in the first half. The first half was really boring. Tank up the place. We were playing ugly football yet again. Sideways passing, defensive display. Trying to just stay afloat. But in the second half, we just came out, got that first goal through our weapon of mass destruction yet again, and then the floodgates opened because Atletico had to definitely come out, spaces opened, and we had players who worked excessively effectively in pocket spaces, and that's why we're able to get more goals in that Atletico. But in the first half, it was stinky, it was boring, and that's why I'm asking you, do you have concerns about the way we're playing now? Or you're like, I'm okay with the 3 points. I don't care with playing ugly.
I'm more okay with the 3 points. But yeah, there's a concern there, right? Teams know to do the low block, obviously. I don't really care too much, right? I mean, this isn't Real Madrid when the fans start booing them because they're not playing, free-flowing, tiki-taka football. We just need the 3 points, and we need to lift a trophy. And if that comes from, utilizing set pieces well with Declan Rice with some of the best delivery, fine. What I don't want to see is us playing for corners, right? Where Saka doesn't chase the ball out, or tries to play it off the defender to get the corner every single time. But that's part of the game. I mean, that's kind of what you're going to do. But the free flowing, you got to play to your strengths. If our strengths are having Zubamendi pick out a pass, 20 or 30 yards to a winger and then getting around the left or right back and whipping it into Gyokres, that's great too. But the goals are going to come regardless. We've already know that. We have the highest goal differential in the league, regardless if it's from set pieces or not. Again, it's not really the goal that matters at that. It's the delivery. And there's nobody better doing it right now than Declan Rice. And I will stand by that argument.
I completely agree with you. now the Oregon gonna we go into our rival watch, and of course, a Liverpool fan have just walked into the
I
chat,
got
and
Don Bosco.
the brother. I mean, it's because of the title of the stuff
Right.
where I said that Liverpool scraped the win. I did think that they were lucky to get that win. I, I'm sorry.
I don't know.
That,
Villa
I
hit or
felt
miss,
they were
man.
lucky to get that win. Yeah, because Aston Villa, if they finished their dinner, they
Yeah.
would have won that game hands down. So for me, I didn't thought that they script that win. But again, it's at Anfield. Liverpool bounced back
Right.
from the past wounds over the
Gravenberch,
week.
great goal.
Gravenberch is now back. Uh, is Liverpool back? Oregon Goons? Should we now be scared? Should we now quake in our boots now that they've been able to garner a win against Aston Villa? By the way, Aston Villa is a team on form, even before coming into that matchup
Right.
against Liverpool.
Not
So
after yesterday,
it's not like maybe they just smacked up a couple of knuckleheads or something like that.
Right.
Exactly.
No, Villa are a good
Aston Villa
side. They
had
got
the
a good.
momentum.
Yeah, I know. I at this point, it's still early in the season. Liverpool, yeah, as Don Bosco would probably agree, haven't had the best run of results, obviously, last few weeks. But that happens in football sometimes. And I don't see what Florian Wirtz brings to the table right now. And some people rate him, think, oh, it's going to happen. But it will take it takes any new player time, right? But I predicted a Liverpool win, and I predicted them to win the last, I think, 3 or 4 games because it can always just turn on, right? McAllister was on it yesterday. Gravenberch was on it yesterday. Ikiteke scored a goal, I think that was VAR'd offsides or something, right? So it could have been even more. But are they going to catch us? Maybe they'll catch up. But if we keep our defensive solidity, it's going to be hard for any squad right now. We're literally conceding 0 shots on goal practically, and that's very hard. But I still want to say it's a 2-horse race between us and City. But after yesterday, all it takes is a game like that for a team to kick on. They played at home. McAllister was hungry. He was like fighting. Who was he fighting in the box? Or Tyrone Mings or somebody? Like he was like, with Onana, right? They were basically a boxing match inside the box on some of those corner kicks. Gravenberch had a great game, and Isak obviously isn't working out right now, but he's had injuries throughout the last 6 weeks. So things haven't really gone Arne Slot's way, but this is a team, defending champions, Champions League winners, who I rate Arne Slot, and I know a lot of players are like, oh, he needs to go. It's not his fault. He's instituting the same tactics. You have some players that are underperforming. Some players have been injured. I just think that Liverpool, that Aston Villa game could be the catalyst for them to go on and win 3 or 4 more in a row. Just like some games for us, it takes a catalyst for us to go 3 or 4 more in a row. And just like Villa, where they were down at, I think, 17th at one point, won 3 or 4 in a row, right, and got up the table. It's just, I think our man Don Bosco would even agree, and I think you would too, Tony, and our other friends in the chat. You get a run of 3 games and winning in a row, you're looking at 9 points. That flies you up the table, right? That gets you where you want to be. Look at the downfall of Newcastle. They lost to West Ham today, and that's a Newcastle team that, they're missing. Is Isak that big of a miss for them? I don't know, and that's a different discussion. But the fact is that
of course.
are now falling off. Like that's the we rated, falling off again. So some of these teams, it's like 6 steps forward, 8 steps back, and that just happened to Liverpool in the last few games. Oh shit! Oh, there we go. My monitor's acting up. Sorry, but
it's okay.
That's what I was saying. It just takes like Liverpool. If they win next week, it's going to be close. So I think the 2-horse race is going to be a 3-horse race. You know what I mean? That's my opinion.
Again, Oregon, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, people were saying, Liverpool, dead, dusted, gone. They're not coming back again. They're dead and buried. This week now, they get a goal. I mean, these podcasters, they've changed their tune. They've turned their mouths. They're now, I mean, this thing here, it sets me paranoid at times. Yeah, I mean, just last week when when they lost, yeah, I mean, everyone were all, I mean, laughing at them. Yesterday they won, and suddenly they're back. They're back in the title challenge. They're gonna look good. They're gonna win trophies again. I mean,
Right.
when would this stop? Yeah, like, I mean, I just don't know. I'm tired of all these narratives. Yeah, I mean, Arsenal have to fend off people saying that okay, Liverpool are in the title challenge. When they went down, now they've come back now, won a game, they're back in the title race. Before it was Man City, okay, good. When they lost against Aston Villa, people said, oh, okay, it's off. Okay, who's our new challengers now? Okay, it was Man United. And then Man United, oh, okay, good. Yeah, they're keeping pace. And then they drew against, who did they draw against? This weekend. Who did they draw against this weekend?
Who did they draw against, Voodoo? No, who did United draw against? I don't know.
Who did they play against?
Was it Wolves? No, was it Wolves?
No, not Wolves. No, it's not Wolves. They played. Who did Man United play against? Oh my days!
Yeah.
I can't remember. But suddenly, yeah, their challenge is done and dusted now. Now that Man City have won now, oh, they're now back in the challenge again. I'm tired of all this. I'm tired of all this back and forth, man. I mean, what's the solution? What's the solution, man? I'm tired of Liverpool is back this week. They're gonna still win the title. Man City back this week. They're gonna still win the title. When Man United come back,
they're gonna challenge the title. Yeah.
So I mean, what is one word you would say to Mikel Arteta and the Arsenal team and right now with all these things just swirling and moving around Arsenal every week when we play?
I would say the word I would use is noise. It's noise. And shout out to Don Bosco, lots of love, bro. And we've been following football a long, long time.
Yeah.
Right.
And Don Bosco, please subscribe to the channel. Come and be a different voice on the channel. The channel is really,
exactly.
We're trying to grow and we need people like you who have critical voices to help us out.
Forrest yesterday. Thank you, Voodoo. Yeah, big up Forrest. No, I think it's noise. If you pay attention to the rivals' noises, right, then we're gonna, no matter what, it's going to come down to us, Liverpool and City. I truly believe that. I think United will fall off. Obviously, Sunderland will fall off. Bournemouth are going to fall off. I think this loss was pretty predictable. I didn't think it'd be 3-1. I thought I actually predicted a draw. I think 1-1. But with all that said, Tony, is that we have to cancel out the noise, right, and concentrate on what we do.
On what we do.
Weapons of mass destruction, defensive solidity, communication at the back. Because I still think we're weak in transition, right? A ball over the top to Holland, a ball over to Ekitike, a ball over to Cunha and Bremo, right? And all of a sudden our defenders are running back and it's complete fucking chaos, right? And we've seen this many, many, many times before.
Many times,
right?
Yeah.
So I just think that if we do what we do and stay as consistent as possible, we can challenge for this title. But again, February, March, April, difficult times to be on top, right? And difficult to catch up, right? It's difficult for everybody in the top six, essentially, because you're trying to maintain if you're at the top, and you're trying to get to the top if you're in the top six within, let's say, 6 or 8 points, right? And I just think that on the day, if we draw 1-1 and Liverpool win and City win, it's a whole different conversation.
It's a whole different conversation. But again, don't forget that next weekend, just before the international break, Manchester City will be playing against Liverpool. So one has to draw points. And you know what? Yeah, Oregon Gunner, I don't want to put you on the spot, but man, Haaland is looking scary, bro. I mean, I saw Haaland today. Man is looking scary, bro. I can't believe, bro, man. Man is scoring. Oh my days. Man
Yeah,
is
he's
man is
machine.
man is on
He's very,
fire, bro.
he's on it, bro. And that
Bro,
flick off from Cherry,
it's jaw
that first
dropping,
goal.
bro. At
But
this
it's
point,
also
it's jaw
Bournemouth is a high
dropping.
line. Bournemouth to me feel like, oh, we're top 4, we're untouchable now. They got spanked today. Let's be honest. I mean, they had a few chances, but I mean, they were playing a high line, and that just shows arrogance, right? You cannot play a high line unless you're us or maybe Liverpool, maybe a couple other teams you can throw in the mix against Holland. Bournemouth are not built for that, bro. They are. You do not want to chase Erling Haaland halfway down the pitch, right?
Oh
I
my
mean, it's defensive
man is
madness,
looking dangerous, bro.
Oh, dude,
I mean,
he's
in
unreal.
as much as in as much as I want to actually push them out of the title conversation, I mean, it won't work, bro. When you have a striker like Haaland, man, I mean, it's just so difficult. It's difficult to write Man City off, innit? Personally, I want to write them off, but I mean, it's just difficult at this point. Because man is scoring, man is on fire.
Yeah,
man,
I mean, it's just
on fire, bro.
Right, and look at the players they've lost. Well, they lost Kevin De Bruyne, who was far and wide, what if in his prime, the best midfielder in the world during their run of 3 or 4 leagues, right? Winning the Champions League. I just, winning the treble with Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, and that's a big loss to a team. But
that's a big loss.
I'm serious. This Ryan Cherky kid is phenomenal. He's phenomenal, bro. I've watched him play at Lyon. I've watched him inside some of the.
But he's always injured. He's always injured.
Yeah,
big up to
Josh Gunner,
po. I will be with my brother Josh Truguna, Champions League now. People, I've signed the contract, people, with Josh Truguna to be doing our Champions League throughout the season. So my contract runs throughout the season for the Champions League. So I would be on Josh Truguna's channel. I'll be relaying it on my channel, people. But me and Josh Truguna, I would be on his channel for the Champions League.
I need to drop more
Champions League night.
Thank you, bro. Little swag.
Big people.
I need to drop in more. For sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you were saying something. We were on.
It's only 10 weeks of the game. We've only played roughly 25% of the season. We're all excited to where we are now. We're all excited. I get that. I think it's fantastic, right? Because this is where we want to be. You want to be on top. You want other teams to be chasing you. At the end of the day. But I still think we have some draws in us. I still think there's going to be pens. Like I said, there's going to be maybe some own goals, right? We will make mistakes. This team is far from perfect, right? But we're looking very, very good, But if we draw games, City win, Liverpool win, we have a different conversation on our show, right? When that gap gets to 3 or 4 points, that's going to be the real test of where we're at. That's going to be the real test. And I've even said with chess, I think at this point in time, this may sound a little crazy, but we stand a better chance to win the Champions League, I think, than we do the Prem. And I think that if the draws are kind to us.
Wait. Are you serious or again?
I'm serious.
You think we're more likely to win the Champions
League? 3 teams. I think there's 3 teams that would like do us badly. Bayern Munich, Barcelona, and possibly Madrid. I fear Bayern Munich the most. I think that they're just such. I think
Inter Milan is in that conversation.
What's
that?
I
think Inter Milan is in that conversation.
Yeah, I think that's and they can be. They would be the 4th team I would fear. But out of those 4, there's no one else I really fear, to be honest. But Bayern Munich, I think, is number 1. Harry Kane is just firing. PSG, thank you, Josh. Okay, 5 teams. Right? No, that. Yeah, no, right. But I think with defensive solidity, we can stop PSG. I really do. I think that if we can slow down their tempo and have a good defensive structure, they won't get a sniff. But Bayern Munich are that team, bro, to really, really watch this season for the Champions League. And if we're with them in a final and we can beat them 2-1, I don't know. I know it sounds crazy, but remember, Tony, 38 games compared to one-off, 2 games
Yeah.
here, away, whatever, the Champions League. I just think that that's more advantageous for us, to be honest, because we can one-offs, but it's challenge games, and holding off City, holding off Liverpool is going to be tough.
Yeah. I mean, there was something you said about our defense, yeah, but I want to step it up a notch, yeah. Are Arsenal fans actually, are we overhyping our defense?
No.
And I need a holistic answer from you. One of the things I do believe is that you can't beat a team that isn't conceding goals. I mean, a team can't lose when they're not conceding goals. Oregon,
Right.
this season, yeah, we've had 100% record defensively in the Champions League, and we've played big teams already. I mean, Olympiacos used to beat us up, yeah, in the Champions League, yeah. It's not like, it's as cozy as that. They used to beat us every time in the Champions League. We've played against Atletico Madrid. Who was the other team we played against? We've played 3 games.
Athletic Bilbao.
Athletic Bilbao, and they're no monks per se. Yeah, they're a decent team, but they're no monks.
So that game,
yeah, exactly. And we didn't even consider goal playing against these people. Good.
Right.
We've played in the Premiership, 10 games played, bro. We've only considered 3 goals this season in the Prem. And you know what? Yeah, one is only from open. Bro, we've only considered 1 goal from open play. See, yeah, people don't understand the ramifications of what I'm talking about. Your defense has to be tough as nails to be able to withstand that kind of pressure.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Liverpool. Look at Liverpool defense. Man, they've conceded how many goals already? Probably maybe 14, 15 goals already this season already. Even
bro, in the first game of the season.
My days, people. So that's what I'm asking you. Are we overhyping our defense, or do you think this defense is as solid as nails? Really,
I do. I think the understanding of Saliba and Gabriel is, and even you can throw Calafiori in there, who I don't really rate, but I'm liking it more and more, especially this season. And Jurriën Timber is the best right back. I will debate that with anybody, right? And the partnership of Gabriel and Saliba is the best in Europe, and it's the best in the Prem. The stats don't lie. We've conceded 0 goals on shot in, I think, 6 or 7 games. That is unbelievable. Like, not even conceding shots on goal, bro. Like, I mean, if it wasn't for that Schoberschlei worldie, that would have been a 0-0 to Liverpool. I just, it's astonishing, and that is where I give Arteta massive credit for sorting out the defense, because that was our weakness. Socrates, Mustafi, Koscielny, Rob Holding, David Luiz. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Callum Chambers. Oh my days. I mean, all this clones.
Wake up in the morning for me, and you see this back 4 of Rob Holding and David Luiz, and you're just like, Jesus Christ.
Do you remember Papadopoulos? Do you remember Papadopoulos?
Yes. Yeah. I remember Sebastian.
I mean, we've had the most stinkiest
Silvestri, for fuck's sake. I mean, we can go on and on, right? Because we went from the Tony Adams era, Kolo Toure era, Paul Campbell era, to Mustafi, to Koscielny. Oh my God, it was so bad. I didn't even want to get up in the morning to watch these games, because I was just like, we're going to concede a goal. Like, it's inevitable the other team is going to score. If we had those defenders now, we would literally be like 12th in the table. I'm dead serious. We would literally be 8th place, right? Arteta finished 8th, I think, twice. So, so again, we made 8 summer signings this summer, Tony. That to me is a rebuild. Right, that to me is a rebuild, and we got the players we wanted. We wanted Eze, we got him. We wanted Gyokres, we got him. I think the fan base was 60-40 on Zubamendi, but again, Liverpool were after him, Barcelona were after him, and Madrid were after him. You are not a bum if those 3 teams are after you in any way, right? And he has looked very, very good. I'm not going to say great, because I still think we already talked about Zubamendi, but we have. To me, this is the best squad we've had in 10 years, bar done. The best transfer market we've had in 10 years.
Thank God that you just gave us those perspectives. And you know what? This is the reason why Mikel Arteta has to produce this season.
He has to. We have to win it this season.
He has to win the title, bro. Bro, he's my days. He has to win a title.
He has to win the title.
No escaping from this, bro.
A Champions League final.
He has to win something. But Oregon, if Arteta wins the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, is that enough for you to keep his job?
No way. We should cruise through those competitions. I mean, I know it's tougher, right? I think we face Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup. Not sure about the FA Cup, who we're going to face. But we know the quarterfinals, semifinals, FA Cup, there's going to be a Liverpool, there's going to be a City, possibly a Chelsea, United in there. And all four of those are going to be tough. Even if you throw Spurs in the mix, it's not going to be like a day out of the park, even though they're absolute crap right now. I think they're terrible. But with that all said, I mean, even if Sunderland gets up there, I'm not sure if I want Sunderland so much, but at the end of the day, I'm not that nervous about it. If our defense can stay healthy, can stay organized, there's no one that can beat us on those one-off competitions. No one. Throw Madrid, you can throw Barcelona. Maybe Bayern Munich could beat PSG. I'm not so sure. I know it's hard for me to talk about PSG or Bayern Munich. I don't watch those teams regularly. I watch what I can, but from what I've seen from Bayern Munich, they are a machine, bro, and I think they can beat PSG. I think they can beat anybody at any given time. Yeah, they're that good, But again, the stats of the defense doesn't lie, right? Just like we've talked about this, the table doesn't lie. The stats don't lie. We are not even giving teams shots on goals, bro.
At all.
And that's huge. I mean, we're not even giving them a chance on our opposition, and we end up taking it away. Urian Timber up the right wing every time. He was doing pirouettes around 3 players last week. It's just like, holy crap! Like, this guy's a revolution.
Scary, it's scary. Oregon, we are in the Carabao Cup quarterfinals now. Yeah, we've just drawn against Crystal Palace. Right. Yeah, of course. City will be playing against. Who are they playing against?
I'm not sure.
I'm not so sure, but they gave Chelsea another clown team to play. But again, do you think this season? Do you think we're winning that Carabao Cup? Because there's a reason why I want to touch all these little cups here and there. Yeah,
because they matter.
They matter.
It shows. Oh, I think you paused, bro.
Confidence. Because it helps us out. Confidence-wise. So I really want to touch that Carabao Cup. It's very important we lay our hands so that these players get to, take it all in, soak it all up, and have that confidence, that to just go and say, hey, why don't we go for the big one this time?
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%, bro. We win the Carabao Cup, that is a catalyst to go on and finish up. We win the FA Cup, right? That's definitely at the end of the season. That's kind of the icing on the cake. But there's no reason for him to bin off those competitions. If everyone's fit and everyone has...
Big up, Paul.
Yeah, big up, Paul. If everyone's fit and everyone has the same mentality going into these cup competitions, we will win those. I truly believe that. And I think that I agree with what you're saying. You've got to win the smaller trophies to reach the goal of the bigger ones, right? And you might as well fill the trophy case while you can. And I don't want to see just all of the kids in the Carabao Cup, right? We haven't seen. I think we're going to do Crystal Palace. I think we have them at home, actually, in the draw.
I think we beat them. I think we can escape them.
Chelsea, I think we beat them.
To be an escape, though. I don't think we're going to just smash them up. I think it's going to be an escape.
51-0. But getting through all that matters. But I do think that if we lose the Carabao Cup, that will bother me. And let's say we have a good 11 out there, but we still lose. That's going to bother me because we need to be getting through here. We need to look at every game as a cup final, even if it's Sunderland coming up this weekend. They're no
Yeah.
mugs right now, right? I think we'll beat them, but it's not going to be that easy. It's not going to be Atletico Madrid. It may not be 4-0, but it may be 4-0, right? But the unpredictability is what we love. But at the same time, Tony, our defense right now is just so keyed in. It's
just
so
so
keyed in
solid.
right now,
It's
and we're
just
not
so
making
solid.
mistakes. It's so solid.
We're
We're
not
not
conceding
making
goals.
mistakes. We're finding
No
an outlet
shots on
from our
target.
defensive third with Timber. We're getting the ball to Timber. He's racing up the line. Everybody's adjusting to Timber. Even if he gets a bit inverted, we're making adjustments. If Timber goes inverted, Zubamendi steps back, Rice runs forward. It's very hard for these teams. And, I want to see what Madweki's going to produce. Odegaard will be coming back.
Madueke's coming back. Madueke's coming back.
Madweki, I guess once he gets, I think he's a pace merchant right now. But if he can whip some balls in, Gyokres to be in those right positions,
to be in those spaces,
yeah. I didn't think Madweki wasn't the signing I wanted, right? I think we could have used that money for Rodrigo, which really would have boosted things. But I don't think Madweki's that bad of a signing, right? Again, he doesn't have the Chelsea shirt on. We can go back and say, hey, yeah, he was shit at Chelsea. Same thing for Havertz, right?
Yeah.
But once you wear the red and white, especially now with the other players that we've bought and integrated in the squad,
if
Saka has to come up and Madweki under a bad thing, I don't think so. I mean, we're not going to get Saka level yet, but this kid is very, very talented, and it's just
very talented.
Time, we got to give these players time. I mean, again, it's just
good that we're getting all these players back after the internationals, man. I mean, it's so important we get this large chunk, this cluster of players that are out right now. Martinelli, we need him back. We need Madueke back. Kai Havertz for competition purposes, but we need all man on deck right now.
100%.
Internationals. Let's have a big push, for this, for the mid scenario of this Premier League, and let's get something. There was also something I wanted to ask you about. What did you think about Nkapi's performances? What have you thought of his performances since he's been playing with us now? And mostly against that game against Brighton, where we saw him start a full-fledged game for Arsenal. I mean, magnificent.
He's decent, bro.
Strong,
he's decent.
Composed.
Yeah, and that's it. Strong, composed. Isn't quite the Kieran Tierney that I would like, making some overlaps, whipping balls in. But, I think there's definitely a player there. And he was with, the undefeated side of Leverkusen. So there's some experience there of winning. He brings a little bit of that mentality, I think, with him. And he looks the real deal, bro. Central American player from Uruguay, I believe. We've rated players from Colombia, Uruguay, et cetera. Like these players
are from Ecuador.
They want to win. They like the physicality. So I just think it's great. It's a loan deal, I believe, but I'm sure we'll finalize a contract with him. I think at the end of the season, probably. But I like what I see so far. I have again. This is where I give Arteta the most props of having the defense organized, getting the bums out, and really solidifying the Saliba-Gabriel relationship. It's to me, it's in Europe right now. And
again, Mosquera is actually fighting. Bro, Mosquera is actually fighting to be in that mix.
Yeah, $12 million.
No matter how we lock this kid,
I believe.
No matter how we lock this kid in that cage, man is saying, no, I'm here to play. I want to be in the conversation. Mr. Arteta, look at me, I'm here.
Right.
I mean, it's been long. We've seen this kind of fierce competition for places, and right now Saliba would have to actually look at his back and like, oh, okay, I don't have to slip up because I have someone in Mosquera who could actually come in and actually there'll be no problems. Man was bossing that center back when Saliba wasn't there, bro. I mean, he's so solid, bro. I don't know how Real Madrid and Barcelona never saw that kid as one to actually go poach from Valencia right in their doorstep.
Yeah.
I don't really believe it, bro. Man has
Well-
come here and seamlessly integrated into the team.
Well, some of that too. Remember, I think he's only 21, 22, right? So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of a gamble in a way. I think what did we
Mhm.
spend? I said 12 million. I think it was 17. Maybe someone correct me in the chat. But no matter what
I heard
cost,
it was
20
12,
million.
bro. I
Yeah,
heard
it
it
was
was
under
12.
20 million.
Bro.
Right. But that's what another thing too, Tony. I'm glad you brought that up. What I've always wanted was a good center back to come off the bench when needed. Right. You have to keep that level of class, or that, you have to keep that level. Big up Ron Jeremy.
Run Jeremy. Yeah, it's been long.
Right, so you're gonna have
and
to
big
keep.
up to Right Road, who has joined us on the show.
Yeah,
Right Road said something. He says Haaland
100%.
definitely walked on his speed. This season, it's notably quicker.
I think he's
So
dropped 5
yeah, that high line Bournemouth played was just what he was
They were cocky.
asking for. I completely
They
agree
did.
with Right Road. And again, people, this is why Oregon, and that's why I like having this show with Oregon, because his perspectives are usually very deep dive. Yeah, I mean, see, Oregon Gunnar has been pointing out that Gyokres competition isn't against Kai Havertz. It's against the big guys in the league, which is Erling Haaland and the likes of him. So
and that's, I'm just echoing what Ola last week about, right? That's what Ola said as well.
Focusing on his game, you should be focusing on trying to, outnumber whatever this Haaland guy is doing, bro. I don't really think he's there yet, but let's see what happens, man. But Haaland is scary, bro.
No real debate about that. Right?
Scary, bro. He's scary, man.
Yeah, but there's, I mean, right, and I'm not, right, I'm definitely not trying to make a Gyokres hollow comparison, right? But something's there. The strength is there. The speed is there.
I
think,
agree.
I think like even Right Road saying Haaland has gotten faster. Gyokres could be faster at times. But again, bro, he's brand new. Haaland's been at City for like 4 years, 5 years.
4 years, yeah. That's
4 years. I mean, that's like hundreds of games more than Gyokres has played in the red and white. So we've got to have some perspective on this stuff. But
besides, he had a great game against Burnley. Oh, that first half, holding up centre back,
phenomenal.
He wasn't really in the mix of the build-up play, but he was just mostly holding up the centre halves. Holding up play was quite good, and just trying to that wage between Arsenal midfield and the Burnley defenders, which was everywhere. He was making tackles. He wasn't really in the build-up play, but he was in and about,
driving the ball.
Driving the ball here and there, making interceptions. I mean, Mikel Arteta's got him doing, an all-rounded striker's job. But again, he still found his way into that a 6-yard area to be where he should be able to head that ball into the net. That's where you want your striker to be.
Right.
You want your striker to be in the box where you could have a fair shot in actually getting the ball and straight into the net. And that's where you want Gyokres. And that's where he was in that goal. People, we need Gyokres scoring people, because Haaland is looking scary, people. He looks scary. Ron Jeremy said, "What's up, Big Tony, my brother? Pick the champagne in the fridge in May."
Let's hope so.
We're gonna lift something heavy in the air.
Not just an FA Cup.
My guy, big up, Ron. Big up to you. Oregon Gunnar. It's time to go, bro. I know. Yeah. I know that you too you'll be itching to leave too. But what are you gonna leave us with, bro? What are you gonna leave us with?
I'm gonna leave you with this. Maintain the defensive organization. If we can keep these teams from not even getting shots on goal, we stand a very, very good chance of lifting something heavy in May. It could be an FA Cup, it could be a Prem, but I'm not going to go out I'm not going to say it with chest and, we're going to win the league. There's too much evidence to say we won't, unfortunately. We know the history of this manager. We know the history of him not getting over the line. We just have to keep our defense solid and keep everyone healthy as possible. And it's going to take more than just 11 or 18 players to get this over the line. It's going to involve 22, 23 players. Bring in a couple of the lads from the reserve for some of the lower level games if we have to. Give Ethan Nwaneri some starts, right? Give Odegaard some time to get firing, because I still think there's somewhat of a decent player in him, even though he's not the highest rated in my list for the club. Let's get Madueke back to give Saka a break. We can even put Nwaneri on the wing. But to wrap it up, man, we're top of the league. And it feels good to be top. We're not chasing anybody. And that's the main thing. I don't want to be the chaser. I want to be the leader. So thank you so much, bro, for today. And big up everybody in the chat. Great show today. We touched on a lot of stuff. So thanks, everyone, for being here. Big up, Gloria.
Oregon Gunner, my wife is down here, Gloria. That's my wifey. The love of my life. Big ups to you, Gloria. And I hope you're doing good. She came to support her husband. How about that? Big ups to you, Gloria. And this is Oregon Gunner. One of these days, we're going to go to the States and go say hi to our brother, Oregon Gunner. Gloria.
Open door here, bro. We got a spare room, private bathroom.
Big spaces in the house in the US.
Plenty of space, bro.
So big ups to you, Gloria. Thanks for joining us. And she says, big ups, Tony. Well done. Big ups, my love. Love you. To the moon and back. Anyway, see, people, thanks for joining us today. I will be having a solo show tomorrow when I come back from work. It's going to be a solo show. People like my rant, my solo rant this day. So, so I'm gonna be here in the afternoon. Yeah, exactly, man. And then, and she says, big ups to you both. Yeah, so Oregon, she's flagging and saying, big ups to you too, my bro. So, people, on Tuesday, I'm gonna be with my guy, Joshua Guna, for the Champions League. Watch along. On Wednesday, I'll be having a show with I'll be having the Red Divide with Mark, who was a Manchester United fan, our show together. On Thursday, I would likely ask Oregon Gunner to come and let's do our show on Thursday if he has the time.
It might be a little tricky. Usually I'm at the plant on Wednesdays and Thursdays, but I can maybe work out something Friday or Saturday. I haven't done shows with TJ in a while because we've both been, the 8-hour difference and busy with work and that sort of thing. Thursdays,
maybe Friday, Saturday, mostly after our game. After our game on Saturday, we can also do something, and I'm looking on bringing Deji Sports in the weekend. Again, let's see. Deji, Deji's crying all over the internet, man. Chelsea smacked them up. They've lost in the Carabao Cup.
Let's just take a second to laugh at Deji. 1, 2, 3.
Tottenham Sports. Shame on you. Shout out to Deji Sports, bro. That's my guy. Hopefully, I'll see him probably maybe tomorrow because I should likely have a show with Northside LDN. And you know what? Yeah, see, I'm enjoying my time now. I'm enjoying it. Even right now, I'm still predicting that Arsenal might win a treble. I'm feeling giddy. I'm feeling giddy now, bro. I'm gassed. I'm feeling giddy. People, I don't speak for Oregon Gunner. Oregon Gunner is the real one.
I'm not going to say we're going to win the treble. You're too much chess, bro. Too much chess. But I love it. I love your enthusiasm for the I really do.
Yeah. Big ups to you, bro. And see, people, from me and Oregon Gunner, my guy, my brother, we are out, people. Peace, people. And if you've not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. And Oregon Gunner's channel, people, please do run there. His full name is Oregon Gunner. Just go there. He doesn't usually do shows there these days. He used to play games there, once in a while. I don't know what he does these days, but people, go check out Oregon Gunner too. Sometimes he might just give you a surprise. Something like that. So people do that too. From me and Oregon Gunner, we are out, people.
Thank you,
Peace.
People. Peace.